Tonight's vigil was at the DuSable Museum. People were encouraged to bring yellow, purple, and white balloons for a balloon release. Also speaking tonight, Officer Preston's mother and father.
This is sad on so many levels. A beautiful young black female police officer named Ariana Preston life was taking, as you all know.
She looked just like a little kid with a uniform on. That's what she looked like to me. She was a police. She was young.
This did not have to happen if these dudes were locked up where they belong in the first place.
Each of the 4 suspects in Officer Ariana Preston's
4 guys who wasted their lives, they're young.
murder has a lengthy criminal history. Their records show a pattern of...
Why y'all hair not combed? I ain't talking about the one in the braids. I mean, in my day, you should go pick your hair if you go outside. Put the pick to it. I don't even know if they still sell picks. But I'm bald-headed, so I don't have to worry about that.
Committing new crimes while on probation. The most serious sentence, Joseph Brooks, 18. He's been arrested 9 times since 2019. Charges involve a stolen car, theft, and armed robbery.
They say he's been arrested 9 times, but how many times has he been convicted? You can get arrested. I mean, they can't hold you in the jail forever, unless it's something very serious, because they don't have enough space.
Last September, he was sent to juvenile detention for a carjacking he committed while on probation and was classified as a violent juvenile offender. Sources tell the CBS 2 investigators this case was closed just a few weeks before Officer Preston's murder. Jaquan Buchanan, also 18, was arrested in 2019 for robbery. While on probation, he was arrested again for carjacking. Last November, a juvenile arrest warrant was issued related to both of those crimes. Then there's 19-year-old Travell Breland, who has faced multiple charges as an adult and a juvenile. He too was on probation at the time of the murder. His record dates back to 2018 and includes attacking a teacher and pushing his mother.
Pushing his mama down the stairs. So I wonder what his mama got to say about him. She probably was trying to teach him something.
Down the stairs. He's never been given more than probation or supervision. The youngest suspect, Jalen Frazier, is 16. His first arrest in 2019 was at 13. He served 4 years probation. While on probation for robbery, he was arrested multiple times for weapons offenses, armed robbery, and having a stolen car. He too spent time in juvenile detention.
Now I spoke on members of this set.
I see all the guns, man. They be having a lot of guns. People saying, where they getting the guns at? On the street, guns is everywhere.
In that video I posted, when they made a rival drink urine out of a toilet, and I stated,
now that's bogus to make somebody drink out the toilet now, come on.
That guys this reckless you have to keep an eye on, because they will crash out big time.
You said they gonna crash out. They sure did. They crashed into a brick wall going 100 miles an hour. They done.
And I was right. These guys were from the MTV set, a BD set in Chatham, I believe.
Oh, they're supposed to be BDs. But these days, all of them is just clicks now. Because BDs really, they used to have money in the day. They had money in the kind of crimes they'll do, not really just doing random carjackings. They get money jacking, but not that kind of jacking.
The first robbery, a 33-year-old lady parked her car and started going toward a restaurant in the 900 block of East 46th. All 4 members were armed and wearing masks when they approached the victim.
Well, BD's always was known to have a lot of young members. Like you remember Yummy got killed. That's the one that Tupac always had in the picture talking about. The GDs, it wasn't the GDs. He was a BD, a young BD.
And took her credit cards, phone, and a few pieces of clothing. Less than an hour later, they stole a red Kia Forte from the 4700 block of South Indiana. They drove it to the 1 of South Wallace, and there they allegedly robbed 2 women who were conversing outside of a house shortly after 1 in the morning. The 4 reportedly robbed a guy who had just parked his car on the street in the 9100 block of South Merrill after driving the
9100 Merrill is in my neighborhood. It's right down the street. Yeah. So, it's not a real bad neighborhood, but criminals travel everywhere to get money. That's what they do. It's a quiet neighborhood, I think.
Kia there at 1:30 a.m. The man's phone and keys were also taken, but both were eventually found streets away. After that, the crew driving around went on 82nd and Blackstone, and Ariana Preston, just returning home from work in her uniform, was targeted in an attempted carjacking. The members shot at her and she shot back.
Say that's Officer Ariana Preston pulling up outside her Avalon Park home after her police shift early Saturday morning. Surveillance video shared exclusively with ABC7 shows the person neighbors say is Preston turning off the lights to her personal vehicle and crossing South Blackstone Avenue to her family's home. That's when a dark car pulls up, stops, and at least one person jumps out.
This is not.
Well, they should be able to tell down the camera. The camera's kind of blurry, but still, man. Well, ever since I was young, but since I guess I was doing all the BS when I was young, I always watch my surroundings when I'm getting out the car, especially when I'm going to my house, because that's the time you're most comfortable. I always make sure ain't nobody, even if I see a car coming, I'm like, especially if it's night, if I see a car coming, I'm watching that car. I'm watching that car. See if they starting to slow down or what.
Not the movies. It's hard for one person to get up against 3 to 4 guns, especially when they got the drop on you. Preston was shot, and while on the ground bleeding, the robbers stole her gun. Preston was struck twice, one time in the face and once in the neck. After they found out Preston was a cop, they took the stolen car to 72nd and Eberhard and burned it. They had to be either dumb as fuck or off drugs. How did they not know she was a police officer when she had her?
Maybe they did know she was a police officer and they didn't care. Because they had already shot it. Once they shot, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Once they jump out the car to start robbing, it's too late. But they're going to stop in the middle of robbery. Oh, you the police. We already on you.
Uniform on during the shooting. A little later on, one of the members called a friend and bragged about what was done. So that friend called.
See, he the one who got him caught. Probably the youngest dude. He called and bragged, yeah, we just killed the police. That's us on the news. Well, you gone.
The police, and the friend called that member back in front of officers, at which point he.
Now the friend called the police, go get the police, tell them, they called back and said, yeah, that was us. We did that. We did that. Now they call. That shows how smart they are.
Allegedly made further admissions of his involvement, which included details that had not been released publicly. Munchie, another one of the members, went to his ex-girlfriend's home where he intended to lay low. As he was being taken into custody, he allegedly yelled to the remaining 2, who were in a residence nearby. They were each subsequently arrested following an hours-long standoff.
Hey, he got caught, and they said he yelled, "Hey man, they got us, man. Police here." Why are you saying anything? That's my question.
You have the building surrounded. Come out with your hands up.
Rounded a home near 77th and Bishop. The ABCI team learning 2 men and 2 women have been arrested in connection to Officer Preston's death. They're in custody, but no formal charges have been filed yet.
Munchie was caught with a Glock with an extended clip and a switch. While in custody, Joseph Brooks admitted to shooting Preston. Preston was supposed to walk across the stage May 13th and accept her master's degree from Loyola University, Chicago.
Time you can shoot somebody and say, that was my work.
Because they young. You got kids who going on the right path and people going on the wrong path. They're being misled, but it's too late. Yeah, he said that's what we did. They put in work. You know, on the flip side, it's like, man, what y'all did was wrong. You shouldn't have been doing what you were supposed to be doing. But it's always the mama coming out saying it.
What kind of human would say that about another human being?
The system is broken. You look at the extensive records of every one of these offenders, and every time they've been given a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chance. Until there is hard accountability from the beginning, we're going to have more victim situations like sadly this.